And so come on up. We got 2 microphones, gentlemen, so we'll have to probably share those. If somebody wants to, Chad, do you want to work your way down this way so we can, the people that are watching remotely can see you on the camera? Or maybe it's better that you're way off of there. And then they can't see you. When you say something, they don't know who it is or whatever it might be. So, all right. So why don't we start here on this end, grab a microphone, introduce yourself, who are you with, and maybe something fun and interesting about yourself that you'd like to share with the audience.
Good morning. Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it. My name is Chad Olson. I'm from the city of Dilworth. I've been mayor there for, I believe, the last 12-ish years. I'm not really good with dates. And I teach world history, so you figure that one out. It's something funny or exciting. It's, I guess, the uptick in the housing and the real estate market, I've really felt at home. And my wife is a closer. I don't know if you guys realize, if you realize this, but she works for a title company here in town. And so your business and the success and the great things that are happening in real estate, I get to hear all about it when I come home. I know more about real estate transactions than I ever thought I would know possible, and how you do it is amazing. And honestly, that process tells me that when you're going to sell real estate, get a realtor, because I have no idea what you do. So thanks for all of that. And I just find it interesting.
Good morning. My name is Bernie Dardis, and I'm the mayor of West Fargo. And I'm a really dull guy. I don't have anything fun and exciting like that.
Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. There's enough. You guys want to share that microphone down at that end? Then there you go.
I'm Dave Pepcorn. I'm a Fargo City Commissioner, and what you don't know about me is, or maybe you do, but I was a captain of the 1983 National Championship football team. And what Bernie didn't want to say is he was a defensive lineman for NDSU, and I was an offensive lineman. So we did not go against each other because we're a little bit older. But
I'd have had to use the speed rush on this guy.
I love it.
I don't know how to follow that. Name's Chuck Hendrickson. I've been on the Ward City Council I just closed on my 8th year, and I'll be going on my 9th year. Something interesting about me, and the Grassroom crew's gonna know this, like my wife comes from a family of 14. So Christmases are usually pretty active, and I'll be heading up to, they live in Roseville, Minnesota, so we'll be heading up there for Christmas. So, but I have nephews and nieces that walk by me. I don't have no clue who they are, so.
And I bet you don't know all your nieces and nephews and everybody's names, do you?
No. I usually will grab one of the older nephews or nieces and say, who's that walking by? So, but
that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So the goal of today's panel is obviously talking about economic development and opportunities in each of their respective markets, and talk about kind of what's gone on over the last 18 months to the last 2 years or so. And we thought we'd started out with opening up the floor. A few of the gentlemen would like to talk about some challenges that they've been facing in their respective cities over the last 18 months. So maybe we'll start with Bernie to kind of kick us off on that, talking about some challenges in the market. Let's not ignore those challenges, and let's acknowledge them, and then we can talk about how we forge forward.
West Fargo is a community of right at 40,000 people. The challenges in the past year are the same obvious things that all of you experienced. My wife and I built a new home this summer, and I think we got into it 7 months later than originally planned due to workforce shortages and supply chain, so type thing. So, our community has experienced that, but there's some real anomalies about the city of West Fargo. Our 2020 sales tax collection compared to 2019, we're up 8.9%. That's during COVID. Our sales tax number. Now, the forecast going forward is double of that. Our forecast is now 60%. And that's due to a lot of commercial development that is taking place in the city of West Fargo. We've been blessed. But the challenges are like all of you experienced, the whole COVID thing. The city of West Fargo works very closely with the West Fargo Public Schools. West Fargo has the second largest school district and student population in the state of North Dakota. Bismarck is bigger. And in that COVID year, again, thinking about how things were, we had 529 new students come to the city of West Fargo. Now that's a lot of residential development that's taking place. Why is that? We have flood protection. There's no flood insurance in West Fargo. We have dry land, and we have one of the best school systems in the entire state of North Dakota. So despite what a lot of folks faced, we did very, very well. We continued to grow at a record pace. In the last 10 years, like I said, we've grown 49.8%. So the challenges were many, dealing with the public and how they felt about all of the COVID restrictions and the like, but we got through.
I'll just talk a little bit about Fargo and I'm not going to talk about challenges. I'm talking about opportunities, because I like looking forward to that. And to me, from your perspective, we have a $3 billion flood project that's going to be going on for the next 6 years. That's going to benefit everybody in this region. That money is going to be coming into all of our areas. So we're going to have growth. I believe it's going to be like the oil boom in Western North Dakota. We're going to be having a lot of new employees come into Fargo and Moorhead, West Fargo, Dilworth, and we want them to stay after the diversion's done. I will say, here's a couple of things that I want to get. First of all, I want to thank Kilbourne. Some of the representatives are here because they helped get the ball rolling in downtown Fargo. And now that ball is getting like a snowball rolling down the mountain. A couple of key things that changed: RDO making their corporate headquarters in downtown Fargo. That changed people's perception. So now Bell Bank, they're moving their corporate headquarters into downtown Fargo. And we are so excited. And I will say, we just finished last night. We voted on our tax exempt review policy. And so if anybody here wants to know what our qualifications are, it's online. And if there's any way I can help any of you, and Jim Gilmore is our main guy at the city, contact us and we'll help you go through the hoops. But we're going to be booming for the next 15 years, even with dumb politicians like me in charge. But I will say, the game changer, another one was Amazon coming to Fargo. And what we did was, Amazon has the builders build the building. They do not do that until it's completed. And so Ryan Companies from Minneapolis came up here, and it was the quickest turnaround that they've ever had. We did everything, planning, engineering, and then Senator Hoeven intervened. We had some environmental things come up. We got them resolved just like that. And so we've done all we could. And I will say, downtown Fargo, and Mike Allmendinger's here, our goal is, wherever you see a flat parking lot in downtown Fargo, we want a building. And the other cool thing we did, the ROCO, it's a parking ramp wrapped by retail and housing and things like that. We copied that from Sioux Falls and Lincoln. And so the thing I've learned from public services, you can plagiarize all you want. You copy good ideas. It's not like private business where you get in trouble. If you find somebody else that's doing something smart, and that goes for all of us here, we copy it. And so I'm very optimistic. I think and I'm a Fargo boy. I was born and raised. I went to Fargo North. I'm telling you, man, this town, we're going to be a boom town. And so, and I will say that. The other thing you'll notice is, back in the day, West Fargo, Horace, I used to get shot at if I was driving into Horace if you said you were from Fargo. And now we all work together. And that's a huge improvement compared to what it used to be in the past. Right. We're all on the same team. And the other lesson I've learned in economic development is, we're too small to think that we all have to worry about our own area. We got to all work together, because our market, we're too small to compete with the Goliaths, Minneapolis, Dallas, LA. So, all right, I apologize for rambling on. I might, if I go my time, you have to flip the red light or whatever. So thank you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep, no problem. And Fargo plagiarizes Moorhead all the time, so I'll just get that on the way. Just kidding. One thing that's an impediment, and I think we can say this for Dilworth, West Fargo, Moorhead, is the workforce. We're having a tough time trying to find workers for our restaurants, businesses, and you see a lot of restaurants, going to minimal hours and even closing down. So I think the Fargo Moorhead community, Dilworth, West Fargo, and I'm always going to mention that because I don't want to forget about you guys. We need to work to create a workforce and keep our workforce. So But I think that's what's hampering not only Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, Dilworth, but Minneapolis in the whole country. So that's one thing Moorhead is going to work on for the next year. So
Chad, go ahead.
I think the challenges are really what makes the job worth doing. Excuse me. We are growing, and metro-wide Dilworth is no different. We have our residential growth, we have our commercial growth, and the struggles we see are because of that. I mean, new houses, new streets, that's always fantastic. That makes the news. But then we have issues like maintaining infrastructure, right? Water and sewer, no one thinks about until it doesn't work. That's our job, and it becomes a challenge. The services we provide, skilled services, firefighters, police officers, maintenance workers, all of those are skill set positions, and they're increasingly in demand, and oftentimes in fields that are waning people to enter into those careers. So that becomes a distinct challenge. Our police department, for example, operated short one officer for the better part of a year for various reasons, and getting qualified candidates to want that position, be a police officer in this day and age, is a distinct challenge. And along with that, we talked about supply issues and how it delays construction. And we're seeing some delays in our public schools and getting those construction pieces done. And when you look into those areas, what does that mean? Is that a delay in education? What are the impacts to our kids? What are our students dealing with? What is our younger population dealing with? And the issues are very serious when we're talking about food insecurities, a good nurturing environment for which they can grow up. Dealing with addiction issues. I mean, these are all issues that no one wants to talk about, or as we're talking about them, they don't make the headline news, but they have a distinct and lasting impact on our economy and its ability to grow and thrive and continue along that line. Any resource that is dedicated to the service of people is definitely deserving so. And if we can invest those dollars into getting people the help they need, the opportunities they need, that means we get them into the positions that we need to have filled. They become, quality members of our society, and then they're turning around buying homes. One of the biggest issues we had is affordable housing. And I'm happy to say, as we're moving forward, we're looking at distinct and targeted ways to develop affordable housing to grow Dilworth.
Could we touch on the topic workforce issues? Obviously, even at the Delta hotels where we're here today, they said they're struggling to find people to work events and stuff like that. We're struggling to find people in our different markets. What's it like in your communities? Where are the unemployment rates? How are your cities doing? Are you guys struggling to find people to work for your cities? Talk to us about workforce issues.
Yes, to every one of the questions that you just asked.
Yeah.
We're short 3 police officers right now. The Cass County Sheriff's Department is short 25 with jailers and deputies. So the workforce thing is real. The social unrest and some of the things that the law enforcement community has had to deal with has had some people leave the ranks, and that's been. You read about what's going on in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and it to a lesser degree, it's here as well. So yes, and we also have openings that in public works with regard to CDL drivers for dump trucks or different types of construction equipment that they would drive to remove snow. I recently saw an article in Michigan where they had a whole row of snow removal equipment parked, and they had not any drivers whatsoever to take care of the needs of that community. So, Chad brought that up. When I've visited with a business community, I cited an example with our own new home being built, but on Small Business Saturday, I went out on the street and I went door to door thanking some of those retail businesses for being business people in the city of West Fargo. I made 16 stops on a good Saturday. Walk in, shook their hands, thanked them for that. And there wasn't one of them that wasn't short people. In probably half of them, the owners were in there working on Saturday because they couldn't get anybody to work for them. So it's a real problem within the community. And it goes through retail, it goes through construction, it goes through city employees and the like. It's a big challenge.
Just a couple of quick things. The Cass County Economic Development Corporation, I'm a member of that, and that's the same thing where we're all partners. We've had lots of, they would pick what's the priority.
Dave.
And so,
Just move that mic.
oh, I'm sorry. And we just voted on the number one priority is workforce. We've dropped everything else and said, without workforce, economic development is not necessary. And so that's going to be our primary focus. And I would say one of the things where we've missed is the opportunity. We have 3 universities here in our area and lots of post-secondary schools. Every one of those people that's attending should be on some type of internship, a paid internship, and we've missed that. And so to me, that's the number one good idea. Everyone that's here, we should be employing those, because if you have a paid internship, the likelihood of you staying with that business is multiple times higher. And so I don't believe that's just the cities or the businesses, it's all of ours together. We've kind of dropped the ball there. And I do think that's one of the first priorities we should be doing. If you don't mind, I'm going to just add one more thing. The EDC, Joe Rosso, he's our local head of our EDC, a great guy. And so if any of you are interested, to me, he should be your first stop. And then the city of Fargo should be your second stop. The other thing I wanted to say is the critical thing is, if I was looking at investing, especially in housing, is senior low-income housing. Every one that we open is full before it's completed. And so from looking at what's a good market, to me, I'm not that bright, but to me, that seems like a pretty good market if you can have it full when you open it up. So thank you very much.
I'm going to just, what Dave said, senior low income housing and 55 plus housing is a big gap in Moorhead, and I've been pushing for 55 plus housing for a while. I had parents who went in 55 plus housing, and they enjoyed it. They enjoyed the getting together with people for coffee, and it was just a good thing. But I want to kind of touch on what Mayor Darda said too about police officers. Moorhead's down too. And it's important issue for me, because if we don't have public safety, we're missing a lot, and we need to keep our police officers. So that's a workforce issue. With the city of Moorhead, we're having a tough time finding workers. And some of the things we're thinking about, we are gathering testimonials from our employers who love to work with the city of Moorhead, trying to recruit those workers. We're using a lot more social media more than ever to reach out to future workers for the city of Moorhead. So, and that works. We're looking for younger workers, and we're just trying to get out there and get, try to retain our workers and get workers. But like I touched on when I first spoke, workforce issue is a big problem right now. So we need to use every avenue we can to recruit and retain workers.
Awesome. So two of you guys talked about affordable housing. What are like the cities? What do you guys?
Do I get to answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know Dave talked for a long time. I just want to say one thing.
He did. Yeah.
I apologize, Mr. Pepcorn. Seriously, I think you're a very intelligent man, so I don't buy into your joke with the dumb politician thing. But I do want to say this, because we talk about workforce, and this is very important to me. We need to restore the integrity to the professions. Now that seems vague and ambiguous, but it matters to every single person in this room, right? Whether it's a 4-year institution or tech school, whatever the case may be, but we have to understand that our country, our communities function by every single layer of our society doing their job. I can't be a doctor. I think I could cut people open, but I don't think I could put them back together. And that's usually a joke that I would say for the mayor of Fargo. But at the same time, the skilled and technical positions to build a home, I can't do that either. I would be electrocuted, or I would gas myself. I don't have that skill set. So our electricians, our plumbers, I'm not getting on a stinking roof. It scares me. All right. So we need to restore the integrity to the professions that make our communities function. And if we're any part of taking that away, then we're doing a disservice not only to our communities, but to ourselves and to our children. And I think it's very important that when we're talking about workforce issues, This isn't brand new. We went to a workforce presentation in Fargo. And this has been around since the 70s. It's older than me. All right. So I think a big part of that is restoring the integrity to the professions. And if we can do that, we will inspire people to pursue their passions and do great things for themselves and for our community. That's my only point. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate the comments. So once again, a couple of you talked about affordable housing. What are your respective cities doing to, whether it's through tax credits or other incentives, to promote and promote to the developers to build affordable housing? Is there anything within your communities that you guys are trying to do right now? Yeah.
So we have a laundry list of programs available, and I'm just the eye candy. The city staff can give you all the information. I don't want to give you the wrong thing, but we have a laundry list. And I just want to talk real quick about, and I don't know if you have any information, but so the opportunity zones that the federal government formed, I don't know if you're from, I'm sure you're familiar with it, but in most large cities like Detroit, it's in a dilapidated area. Downtown Fargo is an opportunity zone. And so to me, I hope you have somebody, it's very complicated.
The next panel, I'm sure, is going to be talking about it. They will definitely dig into that as well too.
So I apologize.
But you can talk about it too from the city perspective too.
It's a huge thing. So when you combine this, we have the Renaissance zone, we have pilots, we have TIFs, we have the opportunity zone. We have lots of different programs to help you. And then on top of that, the state of North Dakota has different things. The other thing the city of Fargo is trying to do is collaborate with, we have Beyond Shelter and the and the Housing Authority. We have lots of different groups that we're trying to work together with, because most of these, you can't just do it as a city. So we have lots of things going on. It is the other thing for our downtown is you have to have people, we want to have more people living down there. And so that's kind of what our priorities are. Thank you.
I go. And Dave, you're very smart. Don't put yourself down. I mean, for Fargo, you're very smart. For Moorhead, Dave and I kid each other. For Moorhead, we have entry-level homeowners, and I have this jotted down here. Minnesota Housing Finance Agency offers both mortgage and down payment assistance for first-time buyers and other buyers that fit their affordability criteria. So Minnesota does a lot for first-time homeowners, and we show a heavy utilization of that in Moorhead with these state resources. We have a Make Moorhead Home Property Tax Rebate, which provides a 2-year property tax rebate incentive for home buyers buying or building a new home. So especially with the young families, and with the 55+ housing too, you know, a lot of the people are getting towards retirement age, want to move out of their homes, they're ramblers. And if we have the 55+ housing, they tend to move to that 55+ housing for the social aspects and everything like that. Then these younger families come in and buy those ramblers, and that's affordable housing. So, you know, that's why the 55+ housing is so important to me and most of the city council and the mayor, because, you know, it just offers new homes when we get those people near retirement age into the 55+ housing. And Moorhead offers a first and new loan program incentive for first-time home buyers buying or building a new home. $5,000, no interest, no payment loan until sold or vacant, to be used for special assessments. It's just a little extra to make new construction more affordable. But yeah, we are seeing limited houses. It seems like when a house goes up, it's sold within 2 weeks. So the real estate market is hot. But yeah, we're doing everything we can to incorporate affordable housing. And we have a couple of projects in North Moorhead going up that are income-based, that are affordable. So we're working on it, but it's always an ongoing project. So
let's talk about the FM diversion project, you know, $3 billion project. From kind of your city perspective, obviously it's going to impact all of your cities. Where do you guys see future development opportunities and stuff because of that happening? Does anybody want to comment on that?
Certainly. Chuck, Dave, and I are all on the FM Diversion Authority Board, serve in different capacities, all of us do. The diversion will have a magnificent impact. Dave was talking about that a little bit earlier. The significance of this flood control project will turn us into a boom town in that sense. For example, in the city of West Fargo, we're in the process of decommissioning all of our lagoons. And that's with the joint partnership that we have with the city of Fargo with regard to sewer. And we'll reclaim over 640 acres on the northwest corner of West Fargo. Now, that might more than likely be light commercial or heavy industrial, whatever that type of zoning. But if you take and follow the path of the diversion, it very much parallels the Horace diversion very tightly until it gets to the intersection of where the Horace diversion meets the West Fargo diversion, and then it breaks west. And there's going to be significant acres there. I said earlier that the city of West Fargo is not required to have flood insurance. Anybody south of I-94 in Fargo is required to have flood insurance. So if you just take a look at those millions of dollars that will go back into the economy when these people don't have to pay flood insurance, that is hugely significant in itself. Then besides all of this other land in the future, the bankers and how they approach everything with, having to have flood insurance and the like. So it's going to have a huge impact on all of our communities. Dilworth, there's going to be people that choose to live in a community like Dilworth that are part of why they came to town is because of the diversion. The same for Moorhead, same for Fargo, same for West Fargo. Kindred will have a great benefit. Castleton, Mapleton, everybody. The entire Clay and Cass County will have a major effect. And obviously, it is a $3 billion project. There's going to be lots of construction workers that are coming to town and the like. I've been in conversation with some of the equipment people that are selling equipment. These people aren't going to bring old used equipment in from their previous work thing. They're ordering new equipment. And it's mining equipment that's that big. These guys aren't going to be driving around out there in small Caterpillars. They're going to have this thing done before the 6 years because there's incentives for them to get it done earlier. So it's going to be an amazing project, and it's going to be amazing to all of our communities.
So for the short term for the city of Fargo, if you're familiar with Fargo, 52nd Avenue, if you look from there south, from the city's perspective, we're going to kind of intentionally hold back on allowing future development until the diversion is done. Because once the diversion is done, there's many rules as far as fill and heights and things like that that will be eliminated because the flood protection will be there. You no longer need that. So that's going to have a huge impact. But to me, once the diversion is done between 52nd Avenue and Horace, if you get a chance to drive out there, that will be filled within the blink of an eye. I think once we complete it and once we start allowing development to happen, which is in 6 years or sooner, that's going to be a huge, that's to me, the second, the diversion, construction is going to be the first wave of the boom, but the second wave of the boom is going to be development out there. And so from the political standpoint, we're already facing a lot of pressure from developers saying, what the hell? Why don't we all see this, let us go. And we can't because we got to let all this stuff get done first. Thank you.
I'm honestly excited to see this thing finally moving and looking at completion because it's a key component to our region. Second to a pandemic shutdown, like a natural disaster shutdown, nothing hurts our economy more. And we've seen that. I've done way too many flood fights with the National Guard to protect our region from that national disaster. So this is going to be huge. And I'm excited to see what industries grow and stay and cement themselves in our region. And that's where our workforce housing is going to come into play. One of the things that the city of Dilworth does, along with the Minnesota first-time homeowners buyers, is the city of Dilworth also offers that 2-year tax abatement on 100% of the property for 2 years. And it doesn't matter if you build a $250,000 home or a $500,000 or $1 million. We've taken it, if you're going to invest that in Dilworth, we're going to return that for 2 years. And that includes city, school district, and the county. And the city of Dilworth has also taken it one step further. If there's an idea for the 55 and older community, whether it's, you know, an apartment type structure or slab on grade community where you kind of, you see, what's the term I'm looking for? All the houses together in one community. Help me out. An association, if you will. There we go. If a builder, if a construction company comes in, wants to do this, we've extended that 100% not only to single families, but into these communities as well. And we've taken it a step further and offered, if they're going to make that investment, that the city of Dilworth will also abate the third year 75% of the tax, property taxes, and then 50 and then 25 for that commitment, that construction. And if they provide the amenities like underground parking, we have an opportunity for even greater substantial tax breaks in a longer period of time. So we've definitely made some headway in looking at being attractive in terms of the costs of construction and the costs of owning those properties. So I think that goes hand in hand with where we're going to see some of the need in terms of housing.
Could we talk about in maybe your respective communities, maybe other development opportunities or redevelopment opportunities? For example, there's the Mid-American Steel site. Are there other sites like that in your respective communities that this crowd should be aware of, and opportunities that they should be aware of?
Through November, West Fargo had $70 million worth of new commercial development going on in our community. But a more, and just about as an interesting statistic is we have $15 million in renovation. So the companies that we have in our community are growing and they need to expand. And there's $15 million of expansion building permits that have been issued. And the answer is yes. We have an area down on 32nd, which is called the Essentia Health Plaza at the Lights. That's creating all kinds of new opportunities. We have a new restaurant going in right now. We have a new tequila bar going in right now. We have a number of other multi-use buildings going in. Epic Companies is the one that has started to develop that. I see that Mr. Bullis is here. He also has the Northern Lights and right next to them. And so there's a lot of things going on down there. And there's land that's within a block away that is already all spoken for. At the present time, Epic is completing the third major building at the Lights. It's a 7-story structure, multi-use, commercial on the bottom, apartments, and then condos. There's already 2 restaurants that have signed leases there. And so that excitement there is that. And then if you go on to Main Avenue and you see some of the commercial development that's taking place on 9th Street in Maine also, with regard to Marvin Windows is going in there. There's a lot of storage there. That was done by the Artisan and Marseille Group. Just recently, Trinity Metals, that large tank manufacturer in West Fargo, sold. And Ole Ramasmo and his group at True North Steel has purchased that, and they've got all kinds of new employees. So there's lots of land that's still available. Unfortunately, it is our estimation by planning and zoning that the city of West Fargo will be built out on commercial property within 3 years. So if you're inclined to invest in our community, you better get at it, because we really are doing very, very well. Thank you.
So the coolest thing is the Fargo downtown now, we are the downtown for the region. And if you've been down there now, we've got tons of new restaurants, tons of new stores. And when we talk about workforce, the younger workforce, which is not me, they want to be able to walk to entertainment, walk to their job, walk to everything, be able to shop, be able to get groceries. And so our downtown is, and if you haven't been down there, it's awesome. And 20 years ago, it was not awesome. It was pretty quiet. On Monday, the city of Fargo, we have 3 projects. I'm the head of the tax exempt review committee. And so we're going to review three projects, and we have, I think, 8 developers on the 3 projects. And back in the day, we would have 1 project a year and we'd have 1 person. And so the progress is it's going to be awesome. So if you get a chance, follow what happens on Monday. But my prediction is we're going to, and we have multiple developers from all over the place now. That used to not be the case. And so I'll give you a couple quick examples. So now Melrose, Bobcat, their R&D department wanted to be downtown because that's where people want to be with. And I'll just give you one example. Bushel is a ag tech company. And about 6 months ago, I know the owner, he contacted me and said, Dave, we need 50 parking spots in downtown Fargo. Can you help me? And so we had Jim Gilmore and our parking commission work on that. So now about a month ago, he goes, actually, we've got a problem. We now have 300 employees and we need a parking ramp. And now what they're working on is leasing the whole black building, which is downtown Fargo, because that's where tech workers want to work. They want to work where things are going on. And if you've been to downtown Fargo, man, we've got a really nice downtown. The Jasper Hotel with RDO, it's awesome. But the other thing is this downtown, it isn't just for Fargo anymore. People come from all over the region. That's where you want to go. And so it's an awesome place. And my prediction is it's going to get better. You talked about the Mid-America Steel site. That is my crown jewel. We're going to keep that for a very long time, because if you get a chance to see that in person, it's a beautiful site. And it's kind of like, it's like if you could pick the perfect spot. And so we're going to be very careful, and that's going to be RFP where it'll have to go through the city, but that could be unbelievable. And so, but I will say, talk about running out of space. We're not going to run out of space. We got so much development to do. You contact us and we'll get you going, because I'm telling you, and it's all of our cities together. This is going to be a boom town. It might be a little bit challenging for all of us, I believe, the next 5 to 10 years, but it's a good challenge. The other thing I would say is what we're doing right now is going to set the tone for probably 50 to 100 years. So that's why we need to be very careful. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. City of Moorhead, we just completed the downtown master plan, which vitalizes the downtown. And since that master plan has been completed, we have entered a development deal with Roars. And Roars has taken the lead on developing a master plan for Moorhead Center Mall that is consistent with our downtown plan. So there's big things happening in downtown Moorhead. And that's very exciting. We have a lot of growth downtown, and you can see that when you drive through. With that too, we have excellent growth opportunities in downtown Moorhead. The McCarra Industrial Park is still filling up. We actually have 2 parks, just one by the interstate and just one close to the east side of town. The East 10 area, the East 10 strip mall, you're starting to see life there. A lot of people interested in opening up businesses there. So, and then the Holiday I-94, we just passed incentive for Enclave yesterday with the Old Days Inn, you know, that motel right off the interstate. It's kind of an eyesore. They're going to level that and they're going to put housing units up with a commercial underneath. So exciting times in Moorhead. We still have a lot of work to do with our commercial development, but it's coming along. And I want to thank our city manager, Dan Molly. He's been instrumental in finding businesses to develop in Moorhead, and our EDA director too, Derek LaPointe, done an excellent job just getting Moorhead up to speed. But with the whole FM West Fargo Dilworth, it's going to explode here. Well, not explode, but explode in 5 years. There's going to be a lot of developments. It's going to, and like Dave said, it's going to be a boom town, and it's great to see. It's, you know, we're a great community, and you know, it's just we're being rewarded right now. So
commercially, Dilworth is moving forward with our Highway 10 corridor study, where the majority of our businesses are located, and how to best utilize that space. And the one thing I know for sure is, unless you're in Dubai, they're not making any land anymore. It is what it is, and we have what we have. And that's where the idea of making sure the Mid-America Steel project, that location, is a prime chunk of dirt, and how we use what's available to us is key. And I can say that the city of Dilworth has excellent growth opportunities, large industrial real estate is not our forte, but we have had conversations and we have the opportunity for location of businesses that have excellent access to the rail yard, that have excellent access to Trunk Highway 10 as well as interstate. And as we grow and as our cities mature, I see Dilworth filling a role in that need. And I know, I mean, Minnesota doesn't even allow North Dakota license in real estate to go. I mean, so we'll take care of the Minnesota issues as best we can in Dilworth. But at the same time, I think those opportunities, I know those opportunities are there in terms of real estate, commercial real estate. And in terms of housing, one of the things, and I hate to use this term, but this is the technical term that the HBA gave me. We have blighted properties in town. Sounds horrible, right? My mom lives in one of those houses, by the way, so it's okay, I assure you. But what we've been able to do is secure funding for homeowners in these homes that can take out a home improvement loan that will be forgiven within 5 or 10 years if they stay inside of the home. And what that does for the real estate community is it allows the existing residents really to upgrade their home and then also improve the quality of stock for resale. As we look at, is it the 55 and older moving out or in the new couple moving in? So it's very important that we look at maintaining the complete picture. New housing, new commercial, all of that is fantastic, but we can't forget about our obligation to make sure we're using the property that we have to the best of its ability and taking care of our established neighborhoods in any way that we possibly can. And I'm excited to see this opportunity actually come into fruition this coming year and our homeowners being able to get this opportunity to improve where they're living.
Yeah, excellent. All right. So question for everybody on the panel. We have a lot of real estate developers in the room, some owners, some investors, some brokers in the room. From each of your city's perspective, if you think about all the commercial real estate verticals from retail to multifamily to office to industrial, medical office, which product types are in most need in your communities in the short term? And then long-term as well too, in each of your respective communities. If you're going to say, geez, we're really lacking today on, we have no retail development going on and we really need it today. Where are we at today in your respective communities with each one of those verticals, short-term and then long-term?
I'll answer for Fargo. That's way too hard. That's above my pay grade. That's what you guys, that's your expertise. And my perspective is our job is to make it the easiest possible for you to decide that, not us. And so that's, I don't know if that's a very politically correct answer, but to me, that's my perspective.
Well, first of all of you developers that are developing in West Fargo, thank you. Thank you very much. And an open invitation for all the rest of you to join them. It's interesting because different developers are focused on different types of elements. We spoke of Mr. Bullis and we spoke of Epic about the multi-use building. So that's a great need that we have. We in West Fargo, because of our unprecedented growth in the residential markets, we need commercial development. That's where it generates the sales tax and the like. So that's absolutely critical. And if you recall earlier in my conversation with you, in 2020, our sales tax was up 8.69% over 2019. That's a direct result of developers doing some key things within our community. The forecast for 2022 is 16%. Now, you have to be a little bit careful there because North Dakota before didn't have charged sales tax on purchases over the internet. So that's a little bit misleading as to when that kicked in, when the tax commissioner in North Dakota started doing that. But then if you go to Main Avenue, we have the Marcio Group and the Arneson Group that's doing big type of warehousing type things that have attracted. It's attracted Amazon over to West Fargo. All the delivery vans are dispatched out of West Fargo. We have Marvin Windows going into a very large facility there for their manufacturing. They can't meet their demands. Then if you go down by Costco, you have the Enclave Development Group there. and their headquarters are in West Fargo, where Ben and Austin are there. And you'll see that they not only built a world-class office building that houses themselves and an engineering firm, but now they're also building on adjacent lands there where we're going to have a medical park in the city of West Fargo. So we have multiple developers that are going after different segments or sectors that you folks work in. And that's terrific. We couldn't ask for anything more. We have, for example, again, going to Epic at the lights, one entire floor there is being taken over by Essentia Health. So they're moving an entire clinic into our community, which was great for us because those people are going to come there, they're going to work there, they're going to buy gas in West Fargo, they're going to eat in our restaurant. So, you know, everything that we look at and our city commission has been has scrutinized this much closer is the fact is that we want to know how many jobs you're going to create. If we're going to give you some of our incentives like Dave went through with pilots and tips and all of those types of things. But we also want to see what type of sales tax is going to be generated because residential doesn't pay all the infrastructure bills that we need to do. Thank you.
Well, just according to the census, actually 10 years ago now, the commute to Dilworth will add 1 minute to your day. So when we talk about going to downtown Fargo, I do that. We talk about going out to West Fargo, I do that. And I work in Moorhead. And that's why I think it's very important that when we're looking at this for real estate development, real estate sales, don't forget Dilworth. Give Dilworth your utmost consideration because it takes me 15 minutes to get to the new Amazon center, that monstrosity of economic growth. It's absolutely awesome. It takes me 15 minutes to get there from my house. It took me 12 minutes to get here, right? And doing that, that really highlights your question is in the short term, we need to have affordable housing. That's our number one. I would put that top on my list. And I'm happy to say that we've made some adjustments in the city of Dilworth to attract that type of housing. I would say midterm, that mixed use retail. And again, we're seeing local retail in Dilworth. We have our rail yard district that has our coffee shops, our butcher block meats. We're going to see another development that's growing as a result of, you know, our residential growth in Dilworth and the growth of our communities. And long term, as we mentioned, when we're looking at heavy industrial, I think, again, Dilworth geographically suited or is situated to suit the needs of, you know, the company as they come in. And I think that would provide us an excellent opportunity to meet that challenge for future growth. But I would put that as a long-term goal about 3 years out once West Fargo is fully matured.
Can I just add one thing real quick? We're doing a housing study. I think all of us are participating in that. So once that's completed, that will give a lot of information to everybody in the room.
That's great. Go ahead. Yeah, that's okay.
I'd have to agree with what Chad said. Affordable housing should be the short term, just housing in general, because the workforce here is going to triple with the diversion and Amazon. So we need to house people. So that's for the midterm. I'm going to agree with Chad too. When I'm bringing my kids to hockey or I'm in the grocery store and I ask, what do you think we need in Moorhead? Almost everyone says either a hotel or restaurants, because Moorhead's lacking, especially with hotels. And, you know, we have soccer tournaments, we have hockey tournaments, and no offense to Fargo, but they go over to Fargo to stay. We'd like to keep them in Moorhead. So, you know, it's a little selfish to Moorhead, but, you know, if you're going to play hockey in Moorhead, you should stay in Moorhead. So, and then, and hockey's a big part of our lives, believe me. I think council takes a lot of time just to have 2 kids in hockey. Oof. And long term too, we're looking at industrial. You know, we've got Anheuser-Busch and we've got Pactiv, and we're looking to add more industrial complexes to Moorhead. And I think at time that those will come. But yeah, housing is a big thing right now, and especially with our workforce in the Fargo, Moorhead, Dilworth, West Fargo area, it's going to become an issue soon. So,
All right. So we have like 3-4 minutes left. Any questions from the audience at all? Don't be shy. Yeah. Anyone? All right, I'm going to ask my one final question of the day. This is will be my favorite question today. So we got, once again, a lot of developers, brokers out in the room today. What is your number one favorite reason why somebody should either relocate or develop in your respective city? Number one favorite. Anyone?
Just one?
Just one. We're just going one. You're one. One. You're-
West Fargo is protected from flooding. And that means that we now have 16 grade schools and all the growth. Our community is the one community in the area, other than Dilworth, that is protected. And that dry land means a lot to the bankers when they're working with the residential customers. And it should be an effective thing for you as well, because that's not a threat.
To me, the number one is vibrancy, the city of Fargo. And once again, I would encourage you to go downtown because you can see it and feel it. My office was downtown, and this summer I was looking out the window and I go, what in the world is going on? Why are all these, is there a fire drill? Why are all these people out on the street? And they're like, no, that's just how it is every day now. If you go down there, we have skating in the winter. In the summer, the Park District has, on our Broadway Square, we have events almost every day. And if you go down there, there's people out all the time. And the coolest thing about it is it's authentic. The stores, the owners, like Bernie said, they're in their stores. The restaurants, they're local people running them. And so we're so fortunate that the downtown got saved back when urban renewal was going on. A lot of downtowns got destroyed. Our downtown, most of it is intact, and now it's going to start going the other way. But the coolest thing is it's authentic, and you can't replicate authentic. And so it's awesome. And so once again, vibrancy, man, we are vibrant, and we're going to be vibrant for the next 15 years. And to me, the challenge is for all of us to take this, what we're being given, and make the most out of it, because it's not going to happen very often. So I apologize for talking too much, but that's politicians, man.
Thanks, Dave. And I just want to say, I would, any Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, Dilworth, I'd enjoy living in any city, but I prefer Moorhead. I'm a Minnesota boy, and you know what, I just live and breathe Minnesota, but our economy is strong in Moorhead, and our business community is growing, and our population went from 38,000 in 2010 to about 45,000 in 2020. So I would encourage people to come and join our growth. We're growing, we're vibrant. I'm going to steal Dave's word, and you know, it's just a great place to live. But Fargo, Moorhead, Dilworth, West Fargo community is just a great place to live.
I agree, Chuck. This is a fantastic opportunity. And if you ever see the representatives from the cities together, whether it's all of the mayors or the council members or whatever, I think it's very reflective of the collaborative nature of our region. I can't tell, actually, in all the times that I've had the opportunity to share a table with Mr. Dardis, I always leave taking something away. Mr. Pepcorn, same thing. The opportunities and insights you provide, I think they're great. And I do appreciate the self-deprecating humor. I do the same thing all the time when I'm teaching class. And I love the city of Moorhead. I work there. I have kids in hockey. And I take this too, like when I go anywhere for hockey, and it takes us everywhere, even into Fargo, we patronize those locations, those businesses. It's what we do. And we try to find the small family restaurants and stuff like that. And I would encourage, this is going to sound a little odd. I don't want people to relocate to Dilworth because it's better. All right, I invest in your communities, small businesses, you know, you're there, stay in your communities, invest. If you're looking at expanding or looking at additional opportunities, look at Dilworth, right? Get rid of the political or the political and geographic barriers. We are one and the same. We are all one and the same. We all want the same thing. We hold similar values. We want the same thing moving forward. Dilworth too does not flood. Like, geographically speaking and figuratively speaking, we are the city on a hill. If you look, there's the floodplain Dilworth sits on a hill between the Red River and the Buffalo River. So we're good with that. The one thing I would leave you with and why you should consider Dilworth and consider Dilworth very seriously is the amount of customer service you will receive. I take great pride in that. Our staff, our employees take great pride in where they are and who they're and where they work. And I think that is a reason to consider Dilworth as you are considering the rest of the region. So thank you again for having me this morning.
All right, well, please join the panel, or give me a round of applause for the panel. Thank you. All right. All right, let's do like a 10-minute break. There's coffee, water, and refreshments in the back of the room. Thank you. Okay. All right, there we go.